Hello students, my name is Dr. Mandeep Singh. I am Associate Professor at Electrical and Instrumentation Engineering Department at Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology. In today's session, we will discuss about design thinking process and how design thinking process will help us in innovation and entrepreneurial mindset. Let's start. The objective of today's session will be we will discuss four things. I'll start with what is design thinking, how it is useful. Then I'll explain in detail what is the design thinking process. After learning this, we will discuss two other relevant theories known as double diamond theory and design thinking by IDEO. And in the end, we will compare these theories and conclude the session. So let's start with what is design thinking. Whenever we heard the word thinking about design or design thinking or only design, we always look for something very meticulously designed, aesthetic looks, or beautifully designed cars, mobile phones, or any other sleek looks device. So usually when we talk about design thinking, the first question comes in our mind, is it about aesthetic looks of a building or a device? Or is it about something shining corners of a phone or sleek looks of a car? Or can we say, is it thinking about the design? Let's see, is it so? No, it's not just about the design. So then what is design thinking? As per Steve Jobs, design is not just what it looks like and it feels like. Design is how it works. So similar kind of concept has been built way before Steve Jobs said this statement, and it was in 1960 when few design scientists have proposed one theory, and when they start thinking about it and they coined the term design thinking and stated few principles. But after long discussions and after 10 or 15 years, then it developed as a subject. But it get popular in 2004 when David Calais founded his design school and presented his concept for a more generic problem solving process. So, if we see as per definition, what is the design thinking? So, design thinking is a process to solve problems taking users into main consideration. So, when the problem solving will start from the user's perspective and ends at the user's perspective as well, then we can say this is a human-centered approach and not a product-centered approach. Yes, that process is called design thinking. So this process enhances the flow of innovation and the user's acceptability to a new product. Now let's see how it works. This is the diagram proposed by D School Stanford Education, that is Stanford University. So they said there are five basic pillars or building blocks of design thinking concept. And these five basic building blocks are, first one is empathize, then define, ideate, and prototype, and finally test. Now this concept said that whenever you start developing a product, a service, then you should start with the users who are going to use that service or use that product. You go to your customers, ask what are their original pains or the problems they are having with the current solutions. Once you know these are the cultural background, these are the actual ground reality issues, then you go to your team and start defining that problem that you understood from empathizing your users. While defining the problems, you should start taking the decision challenges, pain points, giving reasoning to every every problem they have stated to you, and finally converge to minimum number of ideas. Let's say we have, with the definition, we come up with 10 or 15 ideas, but once you go to the prototype state, you should have converged to a single idea. It could be merger of all different ideas. We will discuss in detail everything in next coming slides. So after the fourth stage, in fact in the fourth stage, when you are ready with the prototype, prototype means a minimum working model which you can again show to your customers to whom you have interacted in the starting, and discuss with them whether this is the product they are looking for. If they said yes, then you can go for testing. So testing is the stage where you validate whatever you have proposed, you have planned, and you have developed. Interestingly, testing become more significant when you go to the new customers who are not part of your empathizing process, but very similar to those customers, so that they can also test, they can also validate what other users have given the points. So this is a complete process which will be really helpful for your design process, for your problem solving methods, as well as to test and validate your ideas as far as user perspective is concerned. These are some of the main features of this conceptual theory, that is design thinking process. Number one, it is human centered because we start with the human background, we start with their inputs and end again with the customers, that is your users or human approach. So this complete theory is based upon how humans think about their products and services and benefits. So it is human centered. Mindful of process at every stage. You do mindstorming, you do brainstorming, you take advantages of your team members, you take inputs from different aspects of the users. Third feature is show and don't tell, because in this process we develop a prototype. We do not always keep on talking, we will do this, we will do this. In fact, those who are in this process, they try to develop a prototype to share with their users. The fourth feature is this process is biased towards action rather than theory only. So rather than theoretical concept, this process initiate and engage the person or the team who is in the process of innovation to take the actions as per user's perspective. It also asks us to collaborate with the various stakeholders. And the last feature is it produces or says the culture of prototyping. Let's do whatever we have planned. Either it is fail, but early to fail is very good because it will reduce your cost of the whole project. So the culture of prototyping is to go into your customer with a small prototype, again take feedback, do a little bit modification in the prototyping and again go to your customer. So these are the main features of design thinking process. This is the overall diagram. So now we can summarize that these are the 5 basic steps which develop iterative process of design thinking. Why we call it as iterative? Because you will see at most of the points we have a feedback mechanism. Like you have feedback when you have a prototype towards ideation step. Even after testing, you have feedback to ideation stage, you have feedback to very first stage of empathizing, and you have a feedback to the second stage, that is defining the problem. So that at iterations we keep on developing better and better product or service for the users.